07-2018, consider setting a date for the conditional use public hearing for Kids College Learning Center, application 20180008, Kids College Learning Center, location 125 Technology Drive, SD zoning district, applicant Morris Howard Enterprises, DBA Kids College Learning. Dan, please, an overview.
There's really no review tonight. We just want to set the public hearing. This is a proposed conditional use for Kids College, and it's at 125 Technology Drive. It's a daycare center in the suite of an existing building. So as required by the ordinance, we need to set a public hearing to give testimony on conditional use.
Dan, the date of the application is?
The date of the application is 2/10/18.
Very well. Would a date for the board, or any ideas on date? Maybe the one day that we'll be using?
2 Mondays from now, 16th.
You said the application date was February 10th.
That's the date on the application. Yeah, it's February
Okay,
10th.
so
It's already been through the planning commission.
right, we're coming up on the 60 days though to have the hearing. We'll probably need to get an extension just to be safe
Okay.
from the
I'm
applicant.
sorry, your name is? Crystal's here from the applicant.
Oh, great.
So the question is, you actually wanted a little more time?
No, I don't want any.
Did you want to be done?
Yes, get it done as quickly as possible.
Okay, so,
Unfortunately, next week is very,
You can go to the morning.
I can do the 16th, but 2 Mondays for next week is pretty much out for me.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, do you have a comment?
No, I was just explaining, because we have to go through the state, we have to have 30 days for the state, and so we've already pushed our opening date is supposed to be May 11th, and so we're ready to do the hearing as soon as possible, just so we can make our state date for licensing, which would be like on the 3rd date.
Okay.
So if we do it the 16th and do our best to get an answer to her.
Yeah, well, let's do the hearing and then a meeting to follow. We might have one other item that we can handle after that, or pull up that tower hearing and do that voting after that as well. On the 16th?
16th.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Bill, Dan, I wanted to ask, so that February date, that was when the submission was turned in, or did you have any review or any answers that went back and forth?
Well, we don't really, on a conditional use application, we just review the application to make sure that it's complete in conformance with the ordinance. It's up to the applicant then to come to the hearing and provide testimony that they meet the requirements of the conditional use. So we just deemed that the application was complete. The planning commission then reviewed the application. They made a recommendation to set the public hearing date, and that's their role. So those 2 steps have been accomplished.
Are we having the meeting at 7, 6:30?
Could we do that 7?
That's fine.
Okay. Gretchen, we're okay in time?
yeah, 2 things. Why don't you guys close this out? You can do the motion to get it scheduled and vote on that. And then I just want to ask Carol about a short extension because, to the extent we were going to exceed the 60 days, if she'll just give us a short extension, so that's fine and on the record. That's not a problem. Just like once you guys are done.
Make a
I'd like
motion.
to make a motion that we schedule the hearing for April 16th at 7 p.m.
In a second?
Second.
Very well. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0.
Is it Carol?
Crystal,
Crystal, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Are you okay with a short extension on the time period and a waiver of the formal 60 days to have that hearing to the extent that this falls a couple days outside of the 60 days?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, 078-2018, consider the acceptance of a portion of Davis Lane included in the Overlook Phase 6 as previously offered for dedication as part of the Ernest Jr. and Robert Davis subdivision number 1 by a resolution including the amendment to the developer's agreement regarding timing of acceptance of the same.
Members of the board, this is regarding the Overlook plan The original Overlook development contemplated a connection through Davis Lane to Burnside Road. That was approved on the PRD plan that was approved many years ago. It was a condition. And one of those conditions was that within 60 days of receipt of the request from the developer, the township shall take formal action to accept a portion of Davis Lane dedication as set forth in the legal description attached here too. So the reason why that was Davis Lane was a part of the Ernest Jr. and Robert Davis subdivision plan, where they offered Davis Lane, which is a 50-foot right-of-way, for dedication. When a portion of that ground was sold to the Overlook, the public right-of-way was already in place. It's the municipality's or the developer's desire to put the road in there now, but it's sort of one of those chicken and egg things. We're used to the developer building the road first and then dedicating the right-of-way. In this case, the developer's asking us to accept just the right-of-way, not the road for maintenance or anything else. That'll all be accomplished elsewhere. He's just asking us for accepted right-of-way. And the reason for that is it's a dedication that was on that recorded plan, and that dedication remains in force and effect, as I understand from the solicitor's office, for 21 years. So believe it or not, if we wait around a little bit too long, we may lose that opportunity to get that portion of Davis Lane. So I've reviewed this with the solicitor's office, and Dan Gramps is here from the developer's council. What we're really asking the board to do is to accept about 150-foot by 50-foot wide piece of Davis Lane. So we're taking the right-of-way. By amended developer's agreement, the developer has agreed to put in the road and extend the maintenance bond to the period of time for which after the road is built, and we have the required number of homes that are to be constructed in there as per the ordinance, which is 75% of the homes or after 2 years. So we're not giving up anything here. We're just accepting a right-of-way while it's still available to be accepted, and the township is the only one that can accept that right-of-way. So that's an engineer's explanation of a legal matter. I'll defer to the solicitors if there's any questions.
Just one from me. You mentioned accomplished elsewhere. What are you referencing there?
I'm sorry?
You said accomplished elsewhere. Something could be accomplished elsewhere, or that will be accomplished elsewhere.
Are you talking about the acceptance of the road itself?
The actual road itself.
So it won't be through this process, but it will be accomplished
There'll be another.
separate once the road is complete and built.
Yeah, we'll accept the roads for dedication, for maintenance at a point in time. We're not doing that yet. We're only accepting the right-of-way to build the road in. That's all we're doing here. They haven't even built the road yet.
Right.
It will be built.
Okay, anything to add? Gretchen?
No, I think Dan did
Questions
a
from the board?
fantastic job.
Questions? Motion, please.
I'd like to make that motion.
Cindy Fisher made motion. Second.
Second.
Second by Frank. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Cindy, a yes or no?
Aye.
Aye, very well. Carol, let the record show 4-0. Next item, number 0792018. Consider the purchase of one new 2018 Ford F-550 dump body with plow and spreader at a cost of $85,770 from Allegheny Ford. This is a CoStar's purchase. May I have a motion?
Make that motion.
And a second, Cindy?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion?
I'd like to amend that,
Yes, sir.
the 550 dump body with the plow, no spreader. I thought we discussed that prior to this, that he was going to take one off the old truck.
Okay. And a second to that motion? Make that second. Can we have discussion? May I hear your logic behind that?
I'll second, so we can have a discussion.
Okay. Cindy, second. Discussion for that logic?
I just don't feel that every time we get a new dump truck that we have to buy a new spreader. That's like $8,000.
Okay.
When we have spreaders that even the mechanic said that can be easily rebuilt.
Okay.
I feel there's a need for a center-mounted spreader because on the tight areas like Muse and Lawrence, We have parking on the left-hand side of the street, and the plow comes up the adjacent lane next to it. That spreader's typically on the driver's side. He's hitting the cars with salt. We need one that's mounted in the center of the truck. So I feel as though we should purchase the new spreader with the new truck, that puts it where it needs to distribute the salt better.
Yeah, but even the center mount's gonna still spread the salt 18 feet.
No, you can wind the speed at which you wind that, you can dial that down to where it'll spread, minimal width.
Good question, Bill, maybe you know, can our existing spreader be wound down, or could it be mounted to the center of the new unit?
The existing spreader box that we have sitting on the shelf down here is used as a backup. Now, we've looked at modifying that thing. The modification required to do that, to move it to the center, would really be probably more than you really want to do to that spreader box. But the more important part of that is that we have it sitting on the shelf right now as a spare. Should one of the auger boxes go down on one of the trucks, we have that sitting there to throw on the truck until the other one gets rebuilt or repaired. So
How often do they go down?
they go down more often than you think, or that you would realize. There's bearings on both sides of the auger box. It has an auger that rotates and brings the salt to the center of the to the discharge point, and they have bearings on it. And those bearings go quite often because of the salt exposure. So there's a center bearing and two end bearings on there. And normally during the winter time when it does go down, we could pop one off and take the one that we have on the shelf and put it on there until we're able to get the parts to fix that one. And then we'll put that back on the shelf. So.
Do we have, I'm sorry,
I just,
any questions?
we're holding you accountable for what you're saying today, because to Supervisor Fleer's point, what was said in the past isn't exactly what's being said today. So we're going to take your word for it, and or I'm going to take your word for it. I can only speak for myself, but I do have some concerns.
Is there cost associated with that spreader? How much is it? So the 85,770 would go down to what without the
It's
spreader?
about $8,000.
I'm sorry, say again?
It's about $8,000.
8,000?
Yeah, and we have to consider, putting salt against people's cars and stuff is not the right way to, to maintain our roads.
And the spreader we have now
I
would
guess
do
my
that?
concern is, why wasn't this addressed earlier? Why are we just now hearing that we need a center mounted spreader? Why was it never brought to our attention in the past that salt was being thrown against people's cars?
Well, that's why we ordered this, so that we wouldn't do that. We have two of them currently in service, and we use those trucks on those roads. But in order to do that, guys have to come out of their zones to do that.
But Bill, when we had those meetings, nobody mentioned this. Everybody agreed that we would take the spreader off the old truck and put on a new one. We agreed to a new plow.
What we agreed to, Ron, was this. We agreed to take a look at our existing auger box to see if it could be modified. We have done that, and the modifications are extensive on it.
Well, we have any more discussion?
Yeah, not trying to call you out, but that's not the way that I recall. I recall that you were, not you, but that we were reassured that the modification was something that could be done.
That was something that we would look at. That was my impression.
I don't want to deny Public Works something they need, because you guys do a wonderful job, especially on the roads. But replacing something that we already have, especially at a cost of $8,000 that could be utilized towards something else, it's hard to swallow, especially at a last minute, because as far as I knew up until recently, that was not something we were doing.
It's the board's prerogative. If you feel like, if we should order it without the auger box, we'll just put the one that we have on the truck.
If you're saying that the modifications are extensive and that this is what we absolutely need, then you have my support. I just hope that that's what turns out to be true.
So allow me, any more comments? Let me call the question. The most recent amendment on the table is that we invest in the spreader less the vehicle without the spreader. So that is